Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Now, too often I see regional Australians bearing the brunt of unintended consequences at the hands of this federal Labor government. The government's backed down on its proposed tax on its proposal to tax unrealised gains in superannuation tells us one thing very clearly, and that is it wasn't a very good policy to start with. It's only because of sustained pressure from the coalition, from the superannuation sector, from small business owners, from farmers, everyday Australians, that the government has been forced to retreat on some of the most outrageous and egregious elements of this proposal. It was not a minor policy tweak. This has been a fundamental shift in how Australians are proposing to be taxed, and it has not been challenged. Had it not been challenged, it would have set a very dangerous precedent across our entire taxation system. The coalition has always stood on principle when it comes to taxation, that Australians pay tax when income is realised, when a gain is crystallised, when the money is actually in hand. But what this government has proposed is something entirely different. They are proposing taxing paper gains, gains that exist only on paper and may disappear the next day. Anyone who is invested in markets, property or business assets understands volatility. Values rise and values fall. They change with economic conditions, circumstances, interest rates and market cycles. Taxing unrealised gains ignores that reality completely. And this is an area I have had very strong feedback on from my regional electorate of Monash. I came to this place to make a strong stand on behalf of farming families in my community who do so much to contribute to our national wealth and prosperity, ask for very little in return, and under this proposal would have been punished severely. Many older farmers, particularly in my electorate, have their farms in self-managed super funds, and they have that with the intention of leaving their farms eventually to their children. Now, that helps generate retirement income for the parents, while the next generation look to build and continue to build the family business. But not under Labor's proposal, because we know that land prices have increased quite dramatically in some areas, and that does not always reflect the earning capacity of those businesses. Now, Mr Deputy Speaker, I looked up how many farming families this might affect, particularly those with self-managed super funds. There are around 17,000 accounts that hold farmland, and of those, 3,500 have more than $3 million in assets. That would severely cripple and hurt and disadvantage fair dinkum, hard-working farming families in my electorate of Monash, and that is why I cannot support this bill, because it represents a fundamental break with the long-standing principles of Australia's tax system. And that is why Australians from city to country have reacted so strongly and so vehemently. Because equally concerning is the government's refusal to index the $3 million threshold that I've just spoken of in relation to its impact on regional communities, including mine. In an inflationary environment, and one that's only been made worse by this Treasurer's unwillingness to address debt-fuelled spending and the impact that has on the inflation fire, failing to index those threshold amounts would amount to a silent tax increase. Over time, more and more Australians would have been captured by this measure, not because they were wealthier in real terms. Many farming families are what you'd call asset-rich but cash-poor, and they work really, really hard. I believe that because inflation would quietly erode the value of the threshold, this is bracket creep by design. And if it was not flawed policy, then it was a sneaky way by Shaw to take more of Australians' hard-earned retirement savings. That is not the government's money. That is everyday Australians who work hard, who save hard, who do the right thing just to get ahead, and they cannot get ahead under this current government. This is a bad bill, Mr Deputy Speaker. On behalf of the farmers in my electorate and small business owners, I cannot, in good faith, support it.